بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وأما بعد. So in the past few days we've talked about preparing for Ramadan, and today I wanted to talk about fasting, Siyam, and the fadail, the benefits of fasting, and what Allah promised as a reward for the person that fasts, and the benefits of the fasting you see in dunya before you see in the akhirah. But then I realized, I talked to a few people, and I realized that we might have to take a small detour and talk a bit about the rulings of fasting. أحكام الصيام. So, inshallah, today we're going to be discussing some of the main topics of Siyam. And of course, we're not going to go through everything. And we're going to talk a bit about the the frequent doubts that people have, questions that people that get often. And inshallah, we'll address a bit of those that we're not confused. We want to fast, and we don't know the rulings. Some of the fasts, and it might be invalid, and you don't even know it. فالصيام Siyam is to withhold. Siyam is to withhold. That's a linguistic meaning. Siyam in the religion. It is هو التعبد لله عز وجل بالإمساك عن المفطرات من طلوع الفجر إلى غروب الشمس. It is that you worship Allah with this action. First, you have intention. And we'll discuss about the intention a bit more later on. First, you have intention that you're doing this for the sake of Allah. A person who fasts, i.e., he doesn't do any of the things that break the fast from Fajr till Maghrib, but all he did was he didn't want to do it for the sake of Allah. He just didn't eat, for example, he forgot to eat, or he was doing some sort of a fast as a health benefit, or he just slept the whole time. He didn't eat, and he went through the whole time without doing fitr, without doing anything that breaks the fast. This person hasn't fasted. In the religion, this person has not fasted. He didn't bring the first condition, which is niyyah, intention of fasting. وَالتَّعَبُّدُ لِلَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ بِالْإِمْسَاكِ عَنِ الْمُفْطِرَاتِ, that you withhold yourself from the things that break your fast. And we'll discuss what breaks your fast, inshallah, a bit more later on. مِن طُلُوعِ الْفَجْرِ إِلَى غُرُوبِ الشَّمْسِ, from when the sun rises till the sunset, from dawn till dusk. This is the actual time. The adhan, it indicates to this time. The adhan indicates to this time. So when the Fajr adhan happens, this is indicating that the sunrise has come. When the Maghrib adhan happens, this indicates that the sunrise has happened. So you can break your fast. This is Ahkam al-Siyam revolve around this. Ahkam al-Siyam revolve around this. Now let's talk a bit about that niyyah. What does it mean to have niyyah? Niyyah, by the way, and the first thing that we have to talk about, niyyah is amalul qalb mahd. It is an action of the heart. The heart has actions. The heart does tawakkul. You have trust in Allah. The heart has raja, and you have hope in Allah. The heart has taqwa, fear. You have fear of Allah. These are the actions of the heart. These are the actions of the heart. From the actions of the heart is niyyah, which means it's not an action of the tongue. It's not an action of the tongue. So when you're at Fajr, you don't say Allahumma inni asumu laka and all that adiyah that people read. There's no dua. There's no Allahumma inni asumu laka and people think, and then whatever the dua there is. It's an action of the heart. In the heart you have that I'm fasting. That's it. And salah as well. People do this in salah as well. There's no action of the tongue. Allahumma inni usalli laka arba rakat salat al-dhuhr. There's nothing, none of that. The niyyah is in the heart. That's the first point we want to discuss about the niyyah. The second thing is niyyah. Do you require a new niyyah every single day of Ramadan, or is one niyyah enough? There's a popular khilaf amongst the scholars, and we're not going to go into any khilaf. I'm not going to go into much evidences. We're just going to say the rulings, answer the questions. So inshallah, you have answers, and if you want to look into it, this is not a small 15-20 minute reminder. This is not the place for that. So the niyyah, inshallah, one niyyah suffices for the whole Ramadan, which means, for example, you had iftar, you prayed tarawih, and you had the intention of getting up for suhoor, and that would be your niyyah for that day. But you didn't get up for suhoor. You only got up after Fajr Adhan. Are you fasting or you're not fasting? You're fasting. You're fasting, and your fast is correct, and you don't have to make a new niyyah. Everything is good. You finish the day. You continue fasting that day, no problem. All right. So that's the benefit we get. It's one. At the beginning of Ramadan came in, and you know you're fasting all of Ramadan. And there's no reason for you to not fast all of Ramadan. You're fasting all of Ramadan. So even if you forget to make the niyyah or something happened and you didn't make the niyyah every single day, there's no problem. There's no problem with that, inshallah. من طلوع الفجر إلى غروب الشمس. From sunrise till sunset. This means that the adhan, if someone doesn't say the adhan, and you see the sunrise, you know what the sunrise time has come, but you don't hear the adhan. You stop eating. That doesn't mean that you don't stop eating. And this happens often with sometimes the mic of the masjid, it stops working. So people are eating and drinking, and they see the awqaf time has come. The awqaf time has come. This is usually when the Fajr happens, and the awqaf time is gone, and people are still eating and drinking. They're like, oh, the adhan hasn't happened. And you don't know. Maybe the mic's not working, something's not happening. So when sunrise, of course, the adhan is the asl. If you hear the adhan, khalas, you're good. You know this has happened. But if you don't hear the adhan, don't make the adhan an excuse. The adhan's not an excuse. And if you know that this, like, you can see that the time has come, the time has come. Right? And so, and similarly for fitr, except for fitr, you wait for the adhan. Because fitr, you wait for the adhan. If you hear the adhan, you do it. And when you're certain that the adhan has happened, and then you're certain the time has come, then you break your fast. You break your fast. Who is Siyam obligatory upon? Who is Siyam? Who has to fast? Al Muslim, the Muslim has to fast. Al Baligh, the one who's reached the age of puberty. Al Aqil, the one who has sound, he has sanity, and we'll discuss this a bit more later. Al Qadir, the one that is capable. Al Muqim, the one that is not traveling. Khalim min al mawani, and there is nothing stopping him, making it impermissible for him to fast. And this is especially for the women. Especially for the women. For the fasting of all, I think the first few make sense. The ones that I want to talk about a bit more is al-aqil, the one that has sanity, the one that has a brain. This is the person that can distinguish right from wrong. When you ask him what are you doing, he knows what he's doing. This is the person that is held accountable. He has to fast. A common thing that happens here is a person that is very old, a person that is very old, and because of his age, you ask him, "What are you doing?" I don't know. Where you are? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Things along those lines. They can't distinguish right from wrong. He can't distinguish anything. He can't distinguish his actions. This person, no fast. He does not have to fast. Uh, he does not have to fast, and you also don't have to pay for him. And we'll discuss the ma'dur, the one that's excused because of sickness. But this person is not even because of sickness. He does fasting was never made obligatory upon this person. So this person, you don't have to feed for him uh, if he does not fast. They don't have to feed for him if he does not fast. The sick, we said a person who's capable of fasting in terms of sickness. What is a sickness that permits you from not fasting? A sickness that if you fast with it, it's going to cause you harm. A sickness, if I were to fast with it, doctor will tell you, no, you should not fast with this sickness that you have right now. It's going to cause you more harm. If it's a slight sickness, you have a cold or something like that, that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. And sickness is of two types. Al-ma'dur, the one that is sick from fasting, is too sick to fast. They're, they're of two types. One, that he's going to get better. He's going to get better. He has high fever. He has this. He has that. Inshallah, it's going to stay for a few days, and then he's going to get better. This person, he eats and drinks in those days, no problem, and he makes up those days after Ramadan. He makes up those days after Ramadan. It is better for him to hasten, but he should do it wujub and mandatory before the next Ramadan. Before the next Ramadan, if you have any days of Ramadan that you haven't fasted, you have to fast those days. You have to fast those days before the next Ramadan. That's the first category. The second category is someone that you don't think he's going to get better. It's a sickness that usually does not get better. And some organ failure or things along those lines, really cancer patients, things along those lines are you don't expect them to get better. For this person, every day that he does not fast, you feed a poor person. You feed one poor person uh, for that day that he didn't fast, and alhamdulillah, the Jam'iyyat, Khairiyya, Darul Bir, and all of these organizations, if you give them the money, they will make the food reach the poor people. Uh, that's the that's the second person, the one that is not able to fast at all, and you don't expect him to get better. There's a situation in between these two. There's a situation in between these two. Someone is going through some sort of like liver problems, kidney problems. The doctor tells him you can fast once in 10 days. If you fast only once in 10 days, yani your condition should not be affected. You should be okay. If you fast once in 7 days, your condition should not be affected. So in a month, this person can fast 3 days. What does this person do? This person fasts 3 days every single month. Ramadan, Shawwal, Al-Qa'dah, Al-Hijjah. He fasts every single month 3 days until he finishes the 29 or 30 days of Ramadan. If Ramadan was 29 days, he fasts until he finishes 29 days. If Ramadan was 30 days, he fasts until he finishes 30 days. Now, less than that. The doctor, he says, you can fast only once in 2 weeks. So in a month, you can only fast 2 days. So in a year, maximum, he can fast 24 days. What does this person do? This person fasts 24 days because that's awesome. He has to fast 24 days. Wujuban, obligatory. It's not as like it's an option. No, no. He has to fast 24 days. And uh, the 5 or 6 days, if the Ramadan was 29 days, 5 days. If Ramadan was 30 days, then 6 days. These 5 or 6 days, he gives food. For 5 or 6 days, he gives food. Wujuban, obligatory. He has to do it. So this is when a person is sick. The tafsir on that matter, how that works. The person that is muqim, a person that is in his city, and ahkam al-safar, yani if a person is traveling, it's better for him to fast. Better for him to fast. He's always allowed not to fast. He's always allowed not to fast. But it's better for him to fast. But if he thinks he's going to have trouble during that traveling, it's going to become difficult for him. It's better for him not to fast. It's better for him not to fast. Always, always, if he fasts, the fast is correct. If he leaves the fast, no problem. He can fast some other day. Always, that's a condition. But in terms of what is better, it depends on what's easy for that person. It depends on what's easy for that person. Uh, Someone's notes has come. Allahu A'lam. Yeah, uh, ما هي العادة المبيحة للفطر? We discussed this. مفسدات الصوم. What breaks the fast? We haven't discussed this in detail. What breaks the fast? أكل وشرب, eating and drinking. We all know this. الجماع, uh, intimacy. Uh, what comes in the meaning of eating and drinking? Let's discuss this a bit more. So eating and drinking, no matter what you eat and drink, if you eat a pebble, it breaks the fast. As long as it goes down your throat, it breaks your fast, no matter what it is. But what comes in the meaning of eating and drinking? So by the way, included in this is smoking. Smoking breaks the fast because the smoke no jurm, it has substance to it. So smoking breaks the fast. There's no doubt about that. Uh, what comes in the meaning of eating and drinking? Even though smoking has no nurturing, it doesn't nurture the body, but it breaks the fast. Uh, what comes in the meaning of eating and drinking is what nurtures the body, even though it's not eating or drinking. For example, if you put glucose into the IV drips and things along those lines, they nurture the body and they give the body nutrients, and they they make him require not eating or drinking. It takes the place of eating or drinking. This breaks the fast. This breaks the fast. Of course, there's khilaf on the matter. I'm not going to go into the khilaf. But whatever comes in the meaning, like this is something that is nutritious for your body. You take it wherever you take it. You take it as a injection, IV drip, whatever it might be. You take it in a vein. You take it in a muscle. It does not matter. It breaks your fast. If whatever it is that nurtures your body, it gives your body nutrients, it breaks your fast. So vaccines, some of them will break your fast, some of them won't. Depends on what's in the vaccine. You have to look into that. You have to look into that. أما الاستقاء عمدا, whoever makes himself puke breaks the fast. الجماع always, this will break the fast. If you puke by mistake, you don't want to puke, but because of sickness or some other reason, and you puked by mistake, then this person, no problem. He continues fasting, no problem. But the one who makes himself puke, من استقاء فليقضي. Whoever makes himself puke, then let him bring back that fast. Then he is not, no longer fasting. Hijama, there's khilaf. Hijama, there's a difference of opinion. Some of the scholars they say it breaks the fast. Some of them say it doesn't. Avoid it. Avoid hijama during the morning of the Ramadan. Something important that comes in this matter, and today might be a bit longer than normal days. Something important that comes in this matter is what is the shurut if someone does do this? When does it break the fast? It has three conditions. Three conditions. When so if someone does this, it breaks his fast. العلم والذكر والقصد. العلم والذكر والقصد. العلم, which is that you know. You know, first of all, that this is going to break your fast. You know that this is something that breaks your fast. Secondly, you know that you're fasting. For example, a person, and you're eating and drinking, you're waiting for the Fajr Adhan, it's a normal time, you're waiting for Fajr Adhan, and you hear the Adhan, he says, Hayya, hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah. The beginning of the Adhan, and let's say his mic wasn't working, or you just didn't hear it, and the window was closed, you opened it, and you hear that he's in the middle of the Adhan, so the Fajr happened. You're still fasting. You haven't broken your fast. And the scholars, the examples they sometimes give, if it was cloudy, you couldn't see the sun, and the cloud left, and you saw that the sun has been up for a while, then or foggy, sorry, or it's very foggy, and you haven't seen the sun, and then the fog left, and you see the sun's been up for a while, and you were eating and drinking, you continue fasting, and you don't have to make up this day because you don't have knowledge. But it's the opposite for fitr. When you're breaking the fast, it's opposite. You have to have ilm, you have to have knowledge, or غلبة الظن, يعني fairly certain that Maghrib has happened. So you can't just presume that Maghrib has happened. No, you have to have some indication, something that غلبة الظن, that Maghrib has come in. And it's a firm, some sort of uh, fairly certain. You're fairly certain that Maghrib has happened. Uh, as for hijama, no. So again, we mentioned there's khilaf on hijama. There's a difference of opinion on hijama. Some of the scholars have mentioned that hijama breaks the fast. Uh, أفطر أفطر الحاجم والمحتجم. That's a hadith of the Prophet. The one that does hijama and the one that gets hijama done, they have broken their fast. Uh, so there's khilaf on the matter. Again, I'm getting a lot of questions on the thing, but there's khilaf on the matter, and I'm telling you that stay out of the khilaf. Don't go into the difference of opinion, and don't during the avoid hijama during the days of Ramadan. Avoid hijama during the days of Ramadan. So we mentioned al-ilm. Second, al-dhikr. You remember you're fasting. So if you eat or drink out of forgetfulness, does not break your fast. Does not break your fast. Third, al-qasd, that you did it intentionally. If you, if yani, if something were to, you were to make wudu, we'll mention this topic as well. You're making wudu. You should not do like you should not go deep inside during Ramadan, during fasting. You don't go deep inside. But let's say you made wudu and water reached your throat and you drank some of it. That does not break your fast because there's no intention. There's no intention. Uh, I'll I'll do one more thing. One common question that I get every single year: the person who fasts and then travels. The person that fasts is in Ramadan and he travels. This is of different types. For example, you go to a country that if you go to them, their Eid is delayed. Their Eid is delayed, so it's going to be 31 days. If you go to the if you fast with them, it's going to be 31 days. What do? You fast with them. Again, there's khilaf on this opinion, and we're not going to go into the khilaf. The correct, inshallah, is that your ruling is the ruling of the city you ended up in. Your ruling is the ruling of the city that you ended up in. So if they're fasting 31 days, you fast the 31st day, wujuban, obligation. You have to fast it. And the 32nd day, which is their Eid, is going to be your Eid. The opposite. You go to a country where they've not fasted, they've finished fasting early. So you are delayed and they're early. So this has two conditions. This has two situations. One, where they fasted 30 days and you fasted 29 days. They fasted 30 days and you fasted 29 days. Or in other words, you have completed 29 days. If you've completed 29 days, no problem. It doesn't matter if they fasted 30 days, you fasted 29 days, no problem. The other situation is where you have fasted only 28 days. You have fasted only 28 days. Then this person, he has to bring back uh, he has to bring back one fast. He has to bring back one fast till he reaches the 29-day minimum. That's the minimum a month in Islam can be 29 days. So he has to bring back one fast, not an Eid. So that day of Eid that's going to come, the 20, which was supposed to be the 29th day for him, that day is Eid. He doesn't fast that day. That day is Eid. He celebrates the Eid with the people. But he brings back one day to finish the 29th day. And there's khilaf on this as well. Some of the scholars, they mentioned 2 days. He has to bring back 2 days. If he fasted 28 days and the people there fasted 29 days, he still has to bring back 2 days. That's a khilaf amongst the scholars. But we'll stick to the opinion, inshallah, that he has to bring back one day. He has to do the minimum. هذا والله تعالى أعلم, and I've taken already too much of your time. Uh, but need clarifications. Yeah, inshallah. Refrain from fasting is better, inshallah. هذا والله تعالى هذا والله تعالى أعلم. وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.